Bo, it's a me, Super This Way. Listen, this is a jam-packed video of all the video games I put in serious time in the year of our Lord 2025. There was some big gaming news, but that's for a different day. I don't got time for that. I want to talk about straight up the video games I have played. Now, how I made this list? Well, it's straightforward. It's all the games I played this year. Yes, I'm talking about older games as well as 2025 releases, but I played each of these for the first time ever, so it's new to me, and it's also my list so I can do what I want. And while these rankings are arbitrary, I do have tiers to differentiate each of these games, so hopefully you can see which ones really resonate with me. Also, honestly, most of them are really good, so I don't think you can go wrong with playing any of them. You get to hear some of my thoughts on them and why I like them, and maybe a critique or two. Anyway, what's up? My name is Super This Way. Here's all the games I played in 2025, and in the spirit of my favorite Mario catchphrase, let's go! Now, let's start off with the whatever tier. And from number 38 to 36, it's some mobile games. First, Tomb of the Mask Plus from Apple Arcade is a solid time waster. You can shoot across the map in straight lines against walls, making your way to the exit. Rinse and repeat. There are challenges and minor upgrades to make up for some mistakes, but it's not necessary. If you have Apple Arcade, it's at least something to do in the waiting room. Now, as far as mobile Fire Emblem games, I didn't like Echoes, but I enjoy Shadows way more, but that's not saying much. Fire Emblem Shadows is an auto real-time strategy game where you play with 2 other players online and one of you is a saboteur. These are some nice change-ups considering Nintendo doesn't want to make a full-fledged Fire Emblem game for mobile without all the monetization stuff, but that's the issue. It's a mobile game with some heavy monetization. Luckily, it's not bad or egregious. You don't need to invest anything in it to really enjoy the game, so that's nice. And the story is interesting, but it's also separated from the main game since progression is based on your battle pass tier. But hey, it is free to play. Another free to play game. And listen, Final Fantasy and Magic collab and the cards and art style is amazing. Fine, I'll finally get into Magic. Arena is actually really easy to play and a nice little time, especially if you have an iPad and you can just pretend you're smart as hell, setting yourself up for success. I played this in the summer and haven't since, so I forgot how to play Magic, but hey, I got a bunch of cool cards, right? Now, this tier of games is decent. And we start with a good game that got lost in the old school retro hard sauce. Dragon Ruins 2 starts off compelling with beautiful art, smooth style, and open possibilities. You can create your party with a robust cast, and the gameplay is straightforward and simple enough to engage. Each encounter is an automatic fight, but there is no indication of what exactly is going on except HPs are going down, XPs are going up, and someone is dying. The first couple of hours were fun and I was into it, but it does become a slog. You level characters and weapons, but you don't feel like you're getting better at the game. You need to complete the same dungeon multiple times to gain gold and XP, and you have to do these long runbacks to heal your party. You can use items for these runs, but they get more expensive after each purchase, so it impedes on usage. And as you progress through the quest lines, dungeons turn into big mazes and the enemies get significantly tougher. It goes from a quick fun time to losing its luster to difficulty for difficulty's sake. But it is an otherwise solid dungeon crawler. Hell is an infinite corridor. The Exit 8 isn't horror, but it does play into your psychological senses. The mission is simple. Find the exit by following the directions. If the space or vibes are off, go back the other way. But part of the gameplay is how you always think something is wrong and you second triple guess yourself constantly. Sometimes something very eerie happens. I enjoyed it. You can beat it within an hour or so. It's a nice little dad game. 33 and LOK is a puzzle game using made up words to fill in the tiles. Its premise is simple, but when you add words, it really gets you going to figure out how to solve it. It's great. Welcome to 32, and you know what? This is a pretty good Diablo-like. Minecraft Dungeons is fun, especially if you're playing with your niece or nephew. Don't sleep on it just because it's made for babies like you. For 31, we have my disappointment of the year, really. I love bicycles and figured this game would be tight, and it's just alright. Basically, it's like an open world racing game, but with bikes. You can feel the devs' passion as bicycle enthusiasts with how cool riding a bike is. They really did an admirable job getting the feel of riding a bicycle in a video game. But the overall game feels like riding your favorite bike with one flat tire. The open world is bare and uninteresting, so exploring isn't relevant. The races are the main thing to do, but they're way too easy and forgettable. The art style is fine, but there's a monotone to it where it feels uninspired, especially in the second open world area. It has a generic cell shading indie look. The music is the best part and really carries the game much more than it should. Plus, why are there so many cars on the road? There's enough cars in real life. I don't want it in my bicycle utopia game. So much potential and it's whatever. But you know what? It's top 30 time, I guess. So I love Fire Emblem, but for some reason, I couldn't get into Dark Deity II. It wears its inspo very proudly, and I would say it has a lot going for it, especially with so many modifiers and customization. It really styles after Game Boy Advance Fire Emblem games, and the characters are interesting and you do get to make some consequential choices. However, I tried getting through the game twice and I think there's just something that didn't click for me to continue on. I'm glad this game series has fans though, because you can feel the love for tactics RPGs here. For 29, and this is a game you can play in one sitting. Anne Roger puts the player as a little girl trying to figure out where her dad is while a strange man is in her house. The gameplay is a blend of WarioWare-like microgames and visual novel. Really, the story is the standout here, especially for the direction it goes. It's an effective example of using video games as a narrative device, and we're going to see this theme a lot during this list. And for the next one, we have Sword of the Sea, which is another wordless, serene, and beautiful video game about you bringing back water to the world. The art style is gorgeous and the gameplay is fun, especially using a sword as a hoverboard gliding through the sands and water. It's a nice palate cleanser of a game. Okay, now we're getting somewhere with these games. The I See the Vision tier, which are games that are good and has a je ne sais quoi to them that I enjoy. So for 27, I got The Beginner's Guide, which is good. It's a bit of a trip, but don't be fooled with how simple it looks. Play it for a surprising story for sure. And for the next game I got on my list is a game about digging a hole. Listen, if it feels the masculine urge to dig a giant hole in the ground, that's really it. It's all in the title. I'm a simple man, and this game provided everything I needed, so if you have the urge, this will fill it. Pun intended, of course. And for the next one, I got an arcadey soccer version of Rocket League. Rematch is really solid. It's straightforward to pick up and play, but there is a skill curve, so your mileage will vary based on your opponents. If you're playing this with friends, that would be a great night, especially if you're hitting a good groove. Now, similar to Anne Roger, but with a much lighter tone, Florence is made of these micro games to advance the story. It captures the slice of life theme of first love and finding yourself. Another gem to play in one sitting. Gamifying the concept of putting together the family tree is a genius idea. The Roottrees are dead, allows you to act like a detective, deducting clues to put together the connection within this prominent family. There are stories within stories since you're researching different people to figure out where they belong on this map. The genius is that you have to find the pieces yourself by typing in the clues manually. Sometimes your instinct will hit and bam, a great find pops up and you feel like you're ready to be a PI. If you got the itch to learn about family drama and pretending you're a sleuth, this is right for you. Of course I got a Switch too, and of course I got Mario Kart World. Mario Kart World is an evolution of the tried and true formula that has made Nintendo billions. The racetracks are interconnected, there's a sort of open world mode, and 24 racers all vying for first place. The standout is Knockout Tour though, a battle royale race where the bottom 4 get kicked out after each segment until only 4 are left. That mode is fun and exhilarating, especially when you're locked in. It's a nice showcase for the Switch too, and guess what? Nintendo has another billion-dollar seller. Okay, here. Now let me just say this. This game. I don't mean that in a bad way because I do like it, but also this game. Heads up. This game is dark and has extreme content that I'm going to spoil the hell out of. Skip ahead because any interest you have, you're better off going blind if you can handle it. Okay, listen. Doki Doki Literature Club. It's a horror puzzle game disguised as a visual novel, and the horror is more horrific than scary. The hook is getting you to connect with these girls, and maybe you try to develop a relationship with one of them. But just like life, the serious and dark themes come up fast and does not let you look away. It's one thing for a visual novel to have themes of abuse, depression, and suicide. Doki Doki incorporates them into the meta, where a fake operating system computer controlling the main game. Deletion is an important element and plays a part throughout the story and puzzles. But what makes it most horrifying is how even with the best intentions of playing a good route for all, which involves tricking your file systems, there's no stopping the inevitable doom and tragedy. You cannot escape from the consequences of your actions. You are bound to the script. Again, another excellent example of unique experiences only video games can provide. And here's where my 2 10s come in. Shout out to MinMax, support independent games media. Number 20 goes to Faceminer, a management sim game with the main objective is clicking on people's faces as many times as possible. You're destroying the plan to maximize shareholder value, so yay, just like we're all doing here on YouTube. If you're looking for a short clicker game where number goes up, Faceminer is the choice. Now for 19, I got Crow Country. It's a Cute, small game that has a lot of disgusting stuff. It wears its influence from old Resident Evil games proudly. The horror takes place in an abandoned amusement park where a money laundering scheme / science project went sideways, and now there's these undead just creeping along. There's very little gripes here, so if you want a nice cozy game that's also survivor horror, boom, you got Crow Country. In which case we got Indika, which it is a prime example of the medium is the message for video games. Its narrative focus on the internal strife of faith and the individual while having video game traits like experience points and puzzle and platforming mechanics. Part of what makes Indika so striking is how surreal and bizarre the world and gameplay are. There's a sense of normalcy against this backdrop of an Eastern European war zone and religious philosophy, but that doesn't last long as it doesn't ever feel overt or preachy and more like a conversation within itself. Indika is more about the experience than the video game itself, but it is a solid 5 or so hours of weirdness. And on the flip side, we got a nice quirky little game. Easy Delivery Company sets a mid-fi aesthetic around a simple and effective gameplay of delivering packages with his key truck, or Kai truck. Surprisingly, the driving in this game is fun and does not wear out its welcome. Even the long routes are engaging and not arduous like some other games with delivery mechanics. The quirkiness stems from the writing and weird NPCs that inhabit this world. It's a perfect game for a handheld while relaxing on the couch. And then we have this rogue shoot 'em up that's also really accessible. Star of Providence is a pure video game and is packed with tons of action and fun. You can't really go wrong with this game if it's up your alley. And you get to support a big time YouTuber too, I guess. Not me though. And for 15, South of Midnight is a unique and wonderful game. The gothic deep south setting is ripe for great ideas and it does not flounder on the details. The gameplay is reminiscent of the PS3, Xbox 360 style action adventure games, but the combat does feel too simple and repetitive, especially getting toward the end game. But South of Midnight is carried by its imaginative display of the folklore within this setting, as well as its catchy music and delicious sound design. Demonschool, more like Demonschool, this is a fun game where you are just optimizing the best way to kill demons in a tactics RPG. There's a huge story, you can build relationships with party members, and of course you can fish. Demonschool does have some flaws though. There isn't XP, which isn't a bad thing, but it does make the battles less rewarding, and there are tons of them. It does feel like it takes a bit to ramp up, especially with how the mainline progression is set up with the days and weeks. It feels like you're grinding with how much encounters are set up, but without the obvious reward like XP. It starts to become tedious. Luckily, the fights are engaging enough to overcome that feeling. Overall, it's still fun to play and satisfying when beating down demons and gangsters. Plus, it's freaking cool how the credits show the specific task a person did, so that's a huge plus. Now, something I've discovered this year is that I really like parrying. Yeah, parrying. Listen, while Stellar Blade is a little gratuitous, yeah, no, not a little, the gameplay and combat is just super sweet. It's satisfying parrying enemy attacks and setting up some flashy combos on these ugly mofos. There's quite a bit to the game that is icky, and not just the costumes. The side quest system is whatever, characters are stereotypical, also boring with nothing striking about them. The story is like, you can guess how the mystery comes together all the way from space. I will say the animation work and cutscenes boast some incredible visuals. The finishers in some of these boss fights are really dope and add that hell yeah factor. The bottom line, Stellar Blade is carried by its deep and intense action combat. And also Eve's ass. Okay, now we're in the real top games territory. These are my games of the year and I start the list at 12. Despelote is a slice of life of a child, community, and country getting caught up in the World Cup fever in 2001. It's remarkable how it gets you in the same headspace as a kid. You don't listen to adults, you play with your friends, and you eavesdrop on all kinds of conversations all around the city. It has a meta-narrative context being a sort of autobiographical memoir of the devs. It's incredible how much it works, but for me, I may have been a little too anxious or impatient at times when I played it. There are some dream sequences I felt like it took forever, just because it wasn't clear to me what I can do to advance, or I felt a little stuck. But maybe that's part of the point too. Anyway, Despelote is an example of how much potential video games have as a narrative vehicle, that there's still new ways to tell a story, and I'm glad this exists and it's getting its due. In which case, another story game here. Meta narratives have been the theme this year for me. Slighted Princess is a puzzle visual novel with a simple premise. Kill the princess to save the world. Of course, how the game unfolds, it's not as simple. What sets it apart are the strong writing and voiceover performances. The voice actors conveyed different tones and style obviously and subtly with each of their characters, and the writing taking many wild and different turns and keeping the player engaged. If you're not into visual novels, this one should get you hooked. And here we are with the top 10, which again, I don't think numbers really matter, but whatever. Listen, do you want to have a good time with friends? Play Peak 100% and make sure to have proximity chat on. The goal is that you just got to work together to climb up huge mountains in different settings and environments. The best part is proximity chat because it really makes the experience so much better. You will have constant enjoyment over the sheer hilarity and shenanigans that will occur. This is an anecdote machine where you'll talk about moments from this game with your friends for months and years to come. Like hearing your friend fall to their death, it's second to none. And with my 9, Starstruck Hands of Time doesn't want to be a normal one. There are multiple layers of themes, mechanics, and influences, blending the humor, wit, absurdity, style, and seriousness of Earthbound, Undertale, Moon, and Guitar Hero. Starstruck becomes an allegorical mess of the past, present, and future. The main gameplay is separated by 3 modes: the menu selections and arcade destruction with your hand, the RPG-esque adventure playing the kid characters, and the rhythm game mode where you can actually play with a Guitar Hero controller. The game is engaging because of how absurd it is, especially since there's this wink wink inside joke the characters seem to be aware of. I really enjoyed this game and appreciate the vision, but at the end, I'm not sure how much of any of it was intentional or accidental. I think it's amazing and weird, and that's always a good spot to be in. And for another throwback kind of game, Dungeons of Hinterberg. It's reminiscent of the late 2000s eras of video games with straightforward action combat, light puzzles, and clearing out many dungeons. You play as Louisa and you go to Hinterberg as part of an adventurer's tourist spot where you fight monsters and go through many different dungeons. You can also befriend the folks of this tourist trap town and gain some abilities or other goodies as a result of those friendships. The themes of gentrification, capitalism, politics, and nature are tied together with the swashbuckling sword fighting. The game gets better and better as you progress and level up. Enemy variety is pretty much limited to small, medium, and large, and some minor variances like spellcasters and unique boss fights, but the main draw of the game is how simple and direct the combat is and using the social abilities from time to time. And so for my 7th pick, smash, 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 destroy, 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 rinse and repeat. DK Bananza is a delight because you're just punching your way out of any problem. You can dig a hole, or skate on a boulder, or swing that rock to your enemy's face, or I guess build a bridge out of mud. There was a weird moment where I did feel like I've been playing it for so long, but that's because of the collectathon mechanics where you just want to get another banana gem or a fossil and you just keep straying off the main path. It's still incredible, and this should have been the launch game for the Switch too. Now, for the next 6 games, these are the games that I can just see being Game of the Year in any other year. Too bad they all came out in 2025. For 6, the premise of the Seance of Blank Manor is you are hired to figure out where a missing person is in this hotel in Ireland before a ritual is carried out by the people who can use magic. Looking at documents and photos, researching in the library, or attending lectures and rummaging through guests' room. Each action and investigation takes a minute, and while that may seem stressful, I was able to solve everything well before the deadline. There are many reasons why the Seance of Blank Manor is so delightful. The UI is brilliant, filling in the clues for you and putting it together, especially when you learn of a central piece of evidence about an event or a person. The level of authenticity to the characters and how multifaceted each one is with their own motivations and issues. The stakes of solving the mystery and the effect they'll have on the ending. And you can pick up on the clues through so many different ways. There are several different paths to learn about something, so it really plays on what your investigative style leans to, if you're a bookworm or you're a conversationalist. This game works on many levels, and I learned a whole lot about Irish history and lore, and learning about stuff is pretty neat. And for number 5, just like A Way Out and It Takes Two, Hazelight Studios keep proving they know how to make fun split-screen co-ops. Split Fiction follows their tried and true formula. You and your partner play a set of characters throughout the adventure, with each section having unique skills, and you have to work together to help each other progress. What makes these games so fun is how they provide the right amount of accessibility for all kinds of players, whether you're a gamer trademark, a casual, or a masochist. Play this game with a loved one, friend, or stranger, and you'll have a grand old time. After, of course, arguing with each other. Also, everyone's saying the story is bad. Listen, it's fine and serviceable. Yeah, it's not good, but it's not like downright terrible or horrible. But come on, this is a miracle to have so much fun packed into a co-op game. And then we have number 4, which if there's only one thing to know about Kojima, it's that his games would be memorable, and Death Stranding 2 does not disappoint. Death Stranding 2 is an improvement in almost every possible way from the first game. There's a level of attention to details present in so many aspects. It's crazy that Kojima was able to build this in a cave with a bunch of scraps. A AAA game of this magnitude and scope does not come often. It's a treat that there's a director leading a team of talented developers and artists that are making these kind of games. There are some big swings and misses, especially from the story angle, but who cares about the misses? Not many games are like Death Stranding. Play it if you're a fan of the first one, if you're a fan of Metal Gear, or if you're in the mood for playing something else when you've played all the other AAA games. Now, I won't say this lightly. 1000 Times Resist is one of the best narratives I've ever experienced across all types of media. It's an incredibly dense, fully realized story about a post-apocalyptic society made of clones of a single teenage girl. Its only flaw is traversing through this godforsaken lobby where no matter what, you're just always gonna get freaking lost and you have to run for 10 minutes to get over this stupid ridge. But all's forgiven because the rest of the game more than makes up for it. The writing is theatrical and weighty. There are many themes jam-packed with twists and turns, but they all flow with each other and never against. You are absorbed into this world with rules it bends but never breaks. These dark and complex ideas square off with some of the best sci-fi materials out there. If you want to play a video game like a baby, play all the other games on this list. If you want to experience a haunting, deep, dirty, and personal reflection on identity, life, society, and generational trauma amongst agony, solitude, hopelessness, and hope, play 1000 Times Resist. There is a you that remains and remains and remains before and after playing this game. I'll be thinking about this story for the rest of my life. It is jaw-dropping. The best number 3 game I've ever played. So I have this internal debate within myself about what's number 1. And you know what? It. I got 2 number 1s. I can do whatever I want. That's how crazy this year is that I have a 1A and 1B. I guess we'll start with 1B, and it's Hornet and Her Pilgrimage. The expectations were ridiculous for a sequel to Hollow Knight, and Team Cherry delivered. Silksong kept me hooked. Traversing through this beautiful and challenging gauntlet of platforming, ruthless enemies and bosses and traps. It's a game testing your faith in yourself and challenging you for liking these kinds of games. It's a truly remarkable video game, and dare I say it is much better than the original. There's so much swagger from the art style, soundtrack, and audio design, and the mechanics and boss fights. I thought I wasn't going to like it, but I just got hooked on it and I kept going and going and got through Act 3. I was a little depressed after I beat the game. It's like that marathon high and depression because of how good and challenging Silksong is. This game is still ruthless and not made for everyone. Silksong is a standout, and if you can believe in yourself and have a gluttony for punishment, this is a game for you. And which case, for my 1A, it's gotta be for the Frenchest game ever made. Clair Obscur Expedition 33. How obvious, right? There's black and white cutscenes, existential dread, and baguettes. It also happens to be one of the most memorable video games made in the last decade. It plays homage to the classic JRPG games with a cast of eccentric characters and ridiculous world building. No shot I'm gonna say anything new about Clair Obscur. It's an easy pick for Game of the Year. It's really due to how it's a complete package of a game. The battle system is fun and intuitive, and you can bend and break it. The writing and voice acting is impressive and draws you in and keeps you on the edge of your seat. The soundtrack has range with melancholy and lunacy. It's a AAA game that hits a grand slam, to put it in baseball terms. I don't know about perfect, but Clair Obscur does so much right that it outweighs all the critiques. When it's rolling, it's an incredible experience of a video game. It's an original game with a rich backstory and unique narrative experience that is fully realized. The characters are intriguing and never dull. It keeps surprising you as you continue on. While there are levels, you can fight way outside your weight class and still have a chance to win as long as you can parry and dodge. And the soundtrack and audio design hits their notes every single time, whether it's emotional or time to get bonkers. In years to come, there will be future games influenced by Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Maybe the same franchises that have influenced it. And that's my list of all the games I played in 2025. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please let me know in the comments what your favorite games were, and maybe if I got something right or wrong. Until next time, thank you for watching, and keep on keeping on.